Hello everybody, I am the CCG Collector, and you're watching part 2 of my 5-part series on the sealed products of the Star Wars customizable card game. Today we're going to take a look at the starter decks of all shapes and sizes of the Star Wars CCG. So let's begin with the first thing they released in 1995, the Premier 60-card limited edition starter set. When we think of a starter deck, most of us think of a pre-constructed deck. Something that you can open up out of the box, play it, and get going from there. But this was not that. This was 60 random cards, including 44 commons, 14 uncommons, and 2 rares. An equal split of both sides. And it also had a rule book. So when you opened one of these guys, you'd only have 30 cards for a given side, which wasn't even enough to make a deck. Really, it's just a way of bolstering your collection. And they followed that up in 1996 with the Unlimited Edition. Same card, same spread, same rulebook, just everything was white-bordered, including the pictures in the rulebook. However, in 1996, they did release something that you could play out of the box. And by they, I mean Decipher, of course. And this is the Premier Introductory 2-player game. This was distributed by Parker Brothers, actually. It was meant to kind of look like a board game, not a card game, so it's a little bit more accessible to people unfamiliar with the game style. Now this set included 2 basic pre-constructed decks. Unlike the Premier starter set, this actually had pre-constructed decks. It had a larger rule book, and it had a couple of premium cards for each side as well. You'll see up in the corner here it says, includes unique Luke and Vader cards not found anywhere else. And that's true. They weren't great cards. They were weaker, they were more expensive, but they were the personas. If you had Luke, you could play cards that required Luke, or you could put him in Red 5. If you had Red 5 and you didn't have Luke, same deal with Vader. So they weren't great cards, but they were mains, and they were something to bolster your deck with. Now, the Empire Strikes Back introductory 2-player game came afterwards. This was released with Hoth, and it included some Hoth cards, 2 pre-constructed decks again, different ones now. Unique cards not found anywhere else, like Veers and Chewie and Han. Again, poorer versions of them. But this also included reprints of some cards in A New Hope and some cards in Premier. So everything in here is white-bordered, but though the cards that you'll find in here have a copyright of 1996. So if you find one of those mining droids, or say a timer mine, and you see it has a copyright of 1996, you'll know that this was not the unlimited version. This was the fixed cards from this introductory 2-player game box. Also, the premium cards in this set are the only white-bordered premium cards with the little Seeker premium symbol on them. Now, in the introductory 2-player game, you had premium cards, white-bordered premium cards, but they didn't even have that symbol on them. So this was the first set to actually include the premium symbol. After that, we follow up with another set of starter decks, starter sets with Special Edition. The Dark Side starter deck and the Light Side starter deck. If you've seen my booster opening video of these, you'll already know what they contain, but for those of you who haven't, each of these was not a pre-constructed deck, though the size may make you think they might have been. In fact, this was just another set of random cards. 22 fixed cards, 22 common cards, 14 uncommon cards, and 2 rares. This one had all Dark Side cards, this one had all Light Side cards. In addition, there was the Rulebook 2.0, which included all of the rules overhauls from Special Edition. And there was a glossary of terms from Premier all the way up to Hoth. So you kind of had an idea of what was going on. A lot of the cards didn't describe what they do very well, so that glossary helped with that. These were released in 1998. It wasn't until 2000 that we had our next shot at true pre-constructed starter decks. with Death Star 2, the dark side and the light side. These two starter decks were included 60 cards each. They had a rule book, they had reprinted cards from previous sets. And they also had an exclusively rare card. The dark side had Admiral Piet, the light side had Admiral Akbar. I don't know why they're called exclusively rare, because they're just fixed rarity. You open one of these guys, you get it, so they're not rare, they're just fixed. But I suppose they were a little bit better in ability than the Veers or the Vader that you'd find in the old sets, so maybe that's what they were going for. Anyway, these were included about maybe half Death Star 2, half Endor, and a smattering of A New Hope and Premiere cards and some other ones as well to round things out. This set is kind of tricky because all of the reprinted cards, just like in the other ones, all of the reprinted cards got a new copyright of 2000. So if you had an Endor card, and this is what made it tricky, if you had, there were 4 rare Endor cards, I believe, Chewbacca of Kashyyyk, General Solo, Tempest 1, and Tempest Scout 4, that were rares in Endor with their 1999 copyright, but in this pre-constructed starter deck, they had a fixed rarity because you were always guaranteed to get them, and they had a 2000 copyright. So if you're collecting your cards and you're trying to fill out your Endor sets, be aware of those. And let me show an example of what I'm talking about, though. So here is a blaster rifle from the pre-constructed starter deck. You'll see that it has, I don't know if you'll see that it has it, we'll see how well this focuses, a 2000 copyright right there. You probably don't see that, but that's alright. And of course, this one has a 1995 copyright, as it was from Premiere. You can kind of tell that the green is different on the newer one. The card quality, print quality was better on these. So that's what you'd see. And in Endor as well, it'd be a little bit worse quality, I think, different copyright, and so on. So these are the Death Star 2 starter decks. After that, not quite after that, but in addition to that, we have our official tournament sealed decks. Here is the official tournament sealed deck. The idea behind these guys is you take one of these boxes, it contains 4 Premier Unlimited boosters, 1 A New Hope Limited booster, and an 18-card pack of premium cards. And these were released in 1998. Now this doubles as a 300-card deck box, and you can't see it here because of how it's wrapped up, but there were 6 different tops. One had Boba Fett, one had C-3PO, one had Darth Vader, one had Jabba the Hutt, one had Leia, and one had Luke. But, of course, you didn't know what you were going to get until you opened it up. The idea behind these guys is you opened it up, you built a deck with these premium cards and the boosters you found in here, and you played against people. And they revisited that concept in 2000 with the Jabba's Palace official tournament sealed deck. This one was a little bit less varied. It included 6 Jabba's Palace boosters, but it did have that 20-card premium pack as well. The covers here on the inside that you can't see were Bib Fortuna, Chewbacca, a Gamorrean Guard, Han Solo Frozen in Carbonite, Lando Calrissian, and Salacious Crumb, the little laughing guy at Jabba's tail. I was going to say foot, he's a slug. And again, same deal. It's a sealed deck. You crack them open, you open up your booster packs, you put together a deck, you throw in some of these cards, and you're ready to play. So those are the sealed products, the sealed starter decks of the Star Wars customizable card game. You've got your Premier starter decks, your Special Edition starter decks, your Death Star 2 starter decks, your introductory 2-player games, whatever, you see them, and of course, your official tournament sealed decks. I'm the CCG Collector. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for part 3, where I'm not even going to tell you what we're going to cover because last time I was wrong. Thank you all for watching.